I wanted to tell you, Jason, specifically, like, I'm actually really nervous about this interview because, like, you're my wife's all-time favorite actor. One question she has asked me to ask you, do you guys have plans to go back on a U.S. tour for Smartless?
We do not have plans, but we have desire, and then it comes down to sort of just like scheduling. When does it work for the three of us? We were gonna do a live show tomorrow. What's today? Friday?
Are you not?
Yeah. No, because of the rain. We were going to play Hollywood Bowl, but that's obviously an outdoor thing, and we've got this atmospheric river flowing through Los Angeles right now, so we had to cancel it.
Yeah, that's
but we'll reschedule that.
No, I have friends going.
Yeah, they get their money back.
I would be going, but I'm gonna. Well, we'll talk later.
Well, speaking of Smartless, if Will or Sean were animals in Zootopia and they were playing those characters, what kind of animals do you think they'd be?
Will would be something big and dumb.
Like a honey badger or something?
What would he be?
He'd be.
I didn't mean to imply honey badgers are dumb.
He'd probably be a polar bear that's got something that's just not firing right.
Yeah.
And then Sean would be a sweet little, some sort of,
and I'm like looking at the poster.
He'd be Nibbles. Probably be Nibbles. Yeah.
Nice. So the movie takes place like literally a week after, right? But you guys haven't voiced these characters for almost a decade, so I want to know, was it easy to slip back into Nick and Judy, or did it kind of like you have to get back into the groove of it?
We both studied the first film excessively.
Oh my God, the hours at the zoo. It's just forever.
I did listen to the first. I mean, my kids are now 9 and 11, so I've spent the past decade, like, forcing this down my throats.
Right.
No, it was like the only thing I've ever done that I was able to like slip in that they didn't know it was me and they actually loved it and watched it repeatedly. So I feel like I learned a lot just from watching it with my kids about what it was that we had done and thought about, if given the opportunity, how I would like to like improve upon it. But the truth is, I feel like, the first time I went into the booth for number one, it was like doing voices, and they were like, "That's so cute." Like, if we wanted those actors, we would have hired those actors. I don't feel like when I'm doing this, I'm like acting. I feel like I'm being asked to come in and just be as present as humanly possible, and then I don't have to like keep up with like a character arc or anything, because I have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, the truth is, I mean, tell me if it's real. If when we're recording, we've got the little easel or whatever there and the microphone. You've got an iPad in front of you, which has got the script in it. So you're looking at the script, and you're acting. I wouldn't change my performance at all if the camera was on me and the iPad was the other actor I was talking to.
Yeah.
So it's not. Whereas you would think you're doing voice acting, so you've got to do something that's like. They don't want that. Like, they got that. That's what the animators are for later. Just talk and don't suck.
Just be.
Yeah, like sucking would be pressing. And they encourage you, we just want you to do what you do, and we'll take care of the rest.
That's how I treat interviews, too.
Yeah, try not to suck.
Same. Just try not to suck.
Yeah.
Like I said, really nervous, because I know my wife's actually going to watch this one, and I'm like, God.
Brooke is so loving. Brooke is the best.
She is wonderful. I thank you for saying that. I really appreciate that. When you guys take your kids to the zoo, what's the animal that you're most excited to see personally?
I do like a monkey.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like anything that I feel like is really ugly. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what was nature's idea with that? Like, what's the idea there?
Some ugly monkeys.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Like
we get some birds, then I'm like, that's fascinating. Yeah. We have some gorgeous birds, and then we have some birds that's like, what happened?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know, I've met those. I know what you're talking about.
I feel like I'm insulting birds. I'm sorry, birds.
Jason, this is more of a personal question for me. You've always been so good at playing.
This is real. Before you keep going.
Yeah. Okay. You've always been so good at playing like cynical characters. What's the trick to keeping cynicism lighthearted enough that people don't want to actively avoid you?
Wow.
Yeah, it's a really good question, but it's pertinent to this because, Nick often has some pretty. I don't like you, Judy, lines. Mm-hmm. Like, you're driving me crazy, Judy, lines. And Jared our director, was always great about saying, great with that, it's funny as hell, but, there's a difference between hatred and exhaustion, And like that's a great note to give to, and it's a note that I get a lot, because I'm often playing those characters. I had it a lot on Arrested Development. Mitch Hurwitz would always say, "Don't forget, you love these guys; they're your family." So it's reach down for the patience. The humor will come as we see your character reaching for patience and trying to hide the disdain.
That's a great note.
Yeah,
it really is.
So there's a little bit of small amount of work and talent in there to keep it palatable.
Weird question.
Yeah.
But Gary has one fang, Nibbles has beaver teeth. So does the way their mouths are designed influence the way you deliver their lines at all?
Did it influence you?
No, it didn't. It didn't. Again, I mean, it's really, I think the animators did an incredible job bringing all these characters to life. But for me, I just did it the way I want it.
Yeah.
But also, I also looked, my validation came from if they laugh or if, Jared Bush and Byron Howard, our directors, would nod, then I know I'm doing a good job. No, how about you?
Yeah, I didn't want to do a thing where like I was like talking weird, because I wanted it to, I already having a southern accent, need to try to enunciate more.
I get
right,
it. Tennessee. Yeah.
I figured that would help with the teeth situation, that naturally the southern accent, you don't enunciate things as hardcore, so that fit with Nibbles' vibe, I felt.
Well, so since Nibbles is a podcaster, have you thought about pitching to Jason Bateman about appearing on Smartless, maybe as Nibbles? I don't know.
I know. Why the heck have I not been on Smartless as Nibbles? I'm going to have to...
No, maybe you should have him as a guest on your podcast.
That's right. He needs to ask a question on Handsome. I don't know. I'm going to have to
I think we should work on this.
That. Yeah,
most downloaded episode of Smartless ever.
That's right.
So also, since Nibbles has a podcast, I want to know if Gary had a podcast, what do you think it would be about?
Well, first of all, I think it would be called It's Snake Time.
That's right.
What would it be about? What do you think?
Oh my gosh, it would be something about like a self-help situation, since Gary's always like permission to hug.
Yeah.
I feel like he would be good about like feelings.
Yeah,
and,
working
like,
out people's problems, family.
Yeah, shedding your something about shedding your skin.
Shedding your trauma or something. Yeah.
I did a podcast recently with Seth Meyer, Family Trips, and that was great. So it's something along that line, I guess. Yeah.
Nice. After seeing the finished movie last night, what scene surprised you both the most in how the the animators interpreted your performance?
For me, I when it comes to voice acting in animated films, I really think it's a true collaborative process between the actor and the animator. I provide the voice, yes, but the animator really brings the character alive with the facial expressions and the body movements. For Zootopia, oh my gosh, they're so good. It's so clever. It's really funny. Yep. And every time I see an anim up on screen, I just smile because they're so cute and entertaining. I can watch them all day, like Flash or Clawhauser or one of my favorites, the background dancing tigers. It's just like they make like tigers adorable, It's great.
When you go to the zoo, I want to know personally for each of you, what's your favorite animal that you're like excited to check out?
Oh, what am I into? It's been a minute since I've been in a zoo.
It's been a while.
The giraffes are always so cool because they're so tall that when you see them in person, it doesn't seem real.
Yeah, it's almost overwhelming.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You're just like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's a good thing those guys like to eat plants. Yeah.
I love. I watch a lot of YouTube videos of pandas. Believe it or not,
yeah.
They're so cute.
Yeah,
and they're like really lazy. They just just want to do Nothing. Rolling around. It's just, it's so adorable.
Man, I think I've watched Temple of Doom more times than I've never watched a movie more times than I've watched Temple of Doom.
Really?
Never. Like I had it on VHS as a kid, and just me and my brothers just cycled through that thing daily, and I loved it so much. And so it really is like just an honor to get to meet you right now. And I'm an '80s kid. And, with that and Goonies, I want to know, there's been movement on a Goonies sequel, and they said that they've turned a script in. I want to know if you had a chance to read it yet?
Not yet. I first heard about it when I saw Steven Spielberg at an event, and he was so excited. He said, we're going to try to do it. So let's manifest it. I know we've been trying for the last 40 years. Yeah. But I feel quite good about it this time. Chris Columbus and Spielberg are developing it. We have an incredible writer. I read, he turned in a second draft and they're really happy about it. So I was telling Fortune, I said, we're going to do it. I want her to be in it.
I was saying, I can do the truffle shuffle too. There's gotta be.
I think she would be great.
I agree. I think that would be amazing.
Family member.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I mean, with everybody on board, do you even need to read a script though? I mean, honestly, or would you just be in?
Oh, I mean, if Spielberg and Chris Columbus says, we're good to go, I'm there. Yeah. I mean, I would love to revisit that character and going on another adventure with my Goonies brothers and sisters. That would be amazing.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. That's so exciting to hear. Last question for you guys. Permission to hug?
Yeah.
Permission to hug. Oh, thank you guys so much.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love that.
Jared, I want to know, what was the initial inspiration that made you realize there was another story to tell for Zootopia?
I mean, I think, 14 years ago, Byron hired me for the first Zootopia movie, and we got to build that world together. Honestly, back then, we said, this is such a fun place, and it feels so expansive. We literally said, we feel like you could put a camera anywhere in that world, and there would be a story to tell. So I think from the get-go, we knew there would be, another adventure to go on. I think the question was, what would that be? And I think the really fun thing for us in this movie is we didn't see reptiles at all. Why not? Answering that question, having that be part of the mystery and deepening what we know about Zootopia was really fun.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that until I actually watched the movie. I was like, there's not a single reptile in the first movie, is there? Yeah, exactly.
Like those moments, yeah.
Now, maybe I'm on Twitter too much. I don't know. But I felt like the story was very relevant for today, very topical. Why do you feel like the theme of celebrating our differences is even more important for kids to hear today?
Yeah, I mean, it can seem really daunting, honestly, because there's so much information out there, and the world can be very, very overwhelming. We kind of live in this massive information age, and I can't even imagine growing up as a kid in this kind of environment. But I think the comforting thing about stories like this is it really does come down to connections between people and just that basic idea of caring about someone else, looking out for someone else. And I think it's what we really try to emphasize. And thinking about the differences in partnerships, the three of us are all very different. These guys are great at stuff that I'm terrible at, and I really lean on them to kind of we try to just be there for our crew. We try to know that we have flaws, and we rely on the others to kind of help us, boost us up when we need it. So I think valuing partnership, valuing differences is all key human qualities, and is really the only way you can really get through it.
Now, I really loved the message last night watching it. I was like, oh, this is really nice. This is good. And it's layered, and I love stuff that's got some substance to it like that. Cool. Were there any unused concepts from the first film that you guys were very excited to get to revisit for this one?
Yes. I'd say, something that we really wanted to do in the first film, we didn't get a chance to do it. We wanted to see hippos in the water. We had this idea of some sort of marsh area. We actually, right?
As soon as I saw that, I was like, "That's amazing."
We didn't get to do it, but it was also in the first film, it didn't make sense. There's no character or story purpose to do it. And in this movie, knowing that we wanted to put Nick and Judy in places that they'd be wildly uncomfortable, that's somewhat the story. And there's different types of animals. Visiting a place that's made for semi-aquatic animals that would not be designed for land mammals like Nick and Judy was super fun, so we got to take advantage of that. There's another place we didn't get to visit in this movie that we also wanted to visit in the first movie, which is Outback Island. Sort of this area of, Australian animals. We still have yet to actually go there, although we finally got to hint about it in this movie.
Now, there were also a lot of great references in this film. Some were Disney, some not, and I don't want to spoil any of them, but were there any references that you guys wanted to include, but you had to cut for whatever reason?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think we have a laundry list of things that we would love to get in. I think that's why it's a playground. I think because we're all, film nerds, like we ourselves are all three film nerds, and we work with 700 more film nerds, and we all have our favorite, filmmakers, movie references, leaning into 90s action movies and cheesy TV cop series. Michael Giacchino was a happy camper because that is his zone. He was like, oh boy, I can't wait to dive into that kind of thing. So it is a lot of wish fulfillment when you get to jump into this world because it's a huge playground for everybody.
Was there anything, you haven't got to say anything yet about any of this. Were there any particular movies that you wanted to put in there that you didn't make it in?
Probably yes, but there are. I love the references that we have in there.
They're so good.
The one at the end it's one of my favorite films of all time. So when these guys came up with it, we did talk about it a lot because building this area, our team was like, "Are you sure you want it?" We're like, "Yes." "Are you sure?" "Yes." And so finally, but they did an amazing job of building it and then really tearing it down.
Now, because Ke's in the movie, were there any low-key Goonies references that I missed? But I didn't see them. But are they in there?
Well, I'd say that, inherent to the story itself, the mystery, trying to uncover objects and sort of going on this path and actually following someone else who's already been on the path. That's very much a part of Goonies that we love. There's 2 Temple of Doom references in this movie if you're looking really carefully. Mm-hmm. So, and then there's a Ratatouille / Everything Everywhere All at Once reference as well. So we try to keep Ke pretty well covered.
I definitely felt like I needed to rewatch this to catch all the stuff that you guys had, whether it be jokes or references. It's just packed. You guys did such a good job on this. Without spoiling anything, the ending, is definitely suggestive that there, and you've kind of alluded to this already, that there's a lot of rooms for more Zootopia stories. Are you guys already looking ahead and working on ideas for Zootopia 3?
Well, the world is so huge that even from the get-go, I think we knew that the world was so vast it couldn't possibly fit all within a single film. Definitely not within a single film. But yeah, in the wings, I would say there are ideas that we've talked about for many years conceptually. Even kind of those aha moments, thinking about the first film, and then you go, hey, wait, where are the reptiles? There are more of those that if you think about that, after these films, where are these animals? And so the world of animals is vast. So very.
And you literally just said waiting in the wings.
Oh, yes.
Who knows what that means?
Spoiler alert. Yeah. No. Last question. When you each go to the zoo or you take your kids to the zoo, what's the one animal that you are personally the most excited to see?
Oh, my God.
Meerkats, immediately. They're ridiculous. I would say there was a long time ago when Nick goes to jail, that used to be a full meerkat jail sequence that went on for a very, very long time, and every guard was a meerkat that would pop out on little guard towers. So meerkats are my guys.
Yeah.
I do love the hippos. I love watching them come in and out of the water, kind of sitting there. So.
Oh, nice. That's great. I'm a Bush Baby fan. If I could have a Bush Baby, I would have one here right now on my lap.
Amazing.
With a little laptop.
I'm so thrilled to be speaking with you, Yvette.
Oh, nice to meet you.
You too. So something that I find so remarkable about all Disney films is that they walk this tightrope of feeling distinct to their own world, but also they seamlessly fit in the larger universe and canon of Disney. So, and I know you've worked on Encanto, you've worked on a whole slew of Disney animated films. So how do you balance that from a story and from an animation or design perspective?
Well, I think a lot of times we are all in service all the time of the story and our characters, and especially with Zootopia 2, we have our characters because we met them in the first film, Judy and Nick, and so we focus on them and what they need and what's happening in their world, and we kind of go from there. And as we talked about this morning, it really is such an iteration process. The story always tells us where we need to go. The characters kind of, over time tell us what they need to do. And I love how Nick and Judy just kind of grow within this story further than what they did in the first one.
Especially because their dynamic evolves too. So
Yes.
it's the perfect, again, that tightrope of we get to see these two characters we love and they're completely themselves, but we also get to watch them grow.
Yes.
And though you're always in service of story, one of the things that flabbergasted me about the footage this morning was how every frame of this movie is just packed with such rich detail.
Yes.
So my question for you is there a specific detail that you feel adds like that extra bit of texture that you just love to Zootopia 2?
I think, yes, everything is so full and packed in this film. And yes, we have the story, but I think what's so amazing about working here with the amazing artists that we have here, as the shots go through the departments, every department is like, oh, how can we, up this shot, or what can we do to bring to this shot? And, speaking of how full the film is, we have our crowds department. We have a whole department just focused on crowds and in the background and what they're doing. And one of my favorite scenes is, in Marsh Market when, Nibbles is talking with Russ and they're trying to find Jesus. You see, there's a tiny boat in the back, and the animals on there are laughing and dancing and having a good time. There's so many stories within everything, and it all kind of helps build that believable world.
Yeah, it's so rich.
Yes.
I if it was up to me, I would have been pausing every 4 seconds just to study.
Yes.
every
There is
frame.
definitely a lot to see in this film. So
Yes. And speaking of fan favorites and animals who maybe aren't Nick and Judy, the sloth scene in the first Zootopia is absolute cinema and comedy gold. So when approaching the sequel, did you ask yourselves with Jared and Byron how you're going to top that? Because I did. I'm like, it's poetic cinema.
Yeah, I think, of course, the Flash's scene in the first film at the DMV is, like you said, it's such a memorable scene. What I love about this film is we have so many of these memorable scenes, and some of them are going back and revisiting characters like Mr. Big and Frou Frou and seeing him there. And then there's new scenes with Nibbles that just, every time I see it, it just makes me laugh. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious. And so really there are so many different, this world kind of allows us to have so much fun with all these different characters. It's always like exciting for me to see the film all over again.
For sure. I love when Judy and Nick were running away. I was like, love you.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, one quick last question for fun. If you could live in any part of the city in Zootopia, what would be your neighborhood?
Oh, you know what? That's such a good question. I really do love Marsh Market because it's our new world that we're going into. I love the I love being in the heat, so maybe not Tundra Town, but so probably Marsh Market because there's so much fun there. There's so much to see and to learn.
So lively.
Yeah.
This is exciting. So, gentlemen, one of the things I loved most about today's feature footage presentation and hearing y'all speak was about the amount of research, the exhaustive amount of research
That's true. Yep.
you two and the whole team puts into bringing a film like Zootopia 2 to life. So I have to ask, what was the weirdest rabbit hole that you two went down?
Oh my gosh, the
man.
weirdest one?
And did it make it-
Well, I'd say that there's a deep dive that you can take on all reptiles, and we met with a lot of different. I'll just say that I got to discover that an extremely venomous, I think it was a gaboon viper. I think that's what it was. I got to know what happens when you don't clean their enclosures as often as you should, and I was impressed. I was impressed. It was, I think, worse than a bite would be spending another 10 seconds in that smell.
Yeah.
Heard.
Yeah, that's the one for me.
Okay, top that.
I would say, well, in our research, we have been peed upon by multiple species of animals, fennec foxes,
Yeah.
sloths.
I got crapped on by a fennec.
Crapped on by fennec fox. So there's been a lot of, we're very familiar with the digestive systems of our respective animal casts. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
but we do it for the audience.
Right.
That's
well,
what we
filmmaking's dirty work. I just didn't
is.
think it was
That's
this
true.
type of
It's very,
dirty
very dirty.
movie.
That's true.
And these are the okay to tell people stories. There's other ones too. Yeah.
Exactly. So we all announced some very exciting cast members of the voice of the Lynx Lees today. It's so immaculate and god tier and spot on. So I'm curious, do you have an idea of the actor you'd like to voice these characters when you're writing and designing them? Do they reveal themselves throughout the process, or is that something that your fabulously collaborative team brings to you?
Oh, that's interesting. Well, do you want to talk about you want to talk about Ke?
Sure. Well, it's funny. It's kind of different for every character and actor. I mean, I can speak to in the first film. There's kind of no one that can do what Jason Bateman can do. Like that's like a very specific type of person that can be as snarky as Nick the Fox is, and lovable at the same time. It's almost like a skill set from a bygone era to be able to do that. And so very early on, Jason was like, oh, that must be him. For this movie, knowing that we had a snake that was going to come into the story, and we wanted people to love this character. Very early on, I saw Ke on the Colbert Show, and he's just so lovable and full of joy, and it felt like, oh, that's got to be our guy. And one of our animators, Adam Green, also saw that and animated Gary as Ke on that show. It was the craziest to see him come to life was amazing. So sometimes that can happen. I remember seeing for Nibbles, honestly, I was watching. Oh man, it was like a cooking show. It was like a cooking game show, and she was on. I'm like, who is that? Her voice is hilarious. And that's where that happened, just randomly watching it.
And that's why Fortune's Nibbles.
And then we also have just the most amazing casting department in the world. And so we haven't obviously released all of our cast yet. We have dozens and dozens more folks that have not been announced yet. I think we could announce a new person every day till the movie comes out and still not get through the whole cast, legitimately.
So much to look forward to. How
There is.
exciting.
Yeah.
One last quick question,
Yeah.
a fun one for both of you. What part of the city would you want to live in if you moved to Zootopia?
Oh my gosh, that's good. That's good. Marsh Market is a new favorite of mine.
Yeah, okay.
Because I like the seals. I like the seals
you've
and
always loved 'em.
the walruses and
Yeah.
I like the seafood.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. How about you?
Right.
What do you have?
I'm gonna go with Tundra Town because my folk are a cold weather folk. I like to not get too warm, and so if I can bundle up in a sweater, that's great for me. So Tundra Town would be my location.
Hello, Carrie and David. Thank you so much for letting me jam with you earlier.
Oh, of
Thank you for
course,
jamming.
yeah.
I
That's
had the best
amazing.
time, even though I can't draw to save my life.
You can.
No, it was
Don't
amazing.
say that about yourself.
This will be our whole time together as me arguing. My biggest question for y'all is, how did you balance, because Zootopia, when it first came out, was immediately embraced and beloved by all the Disney fans. So how do you balance retaining what we love about the characters we met in the first film, like Judy and Nick, with introducing our whole new cast of fantastic characters in Zootopia 2?
Yeah, like you said, there is so much that people love about the first film that like returning characters as well. We wanted to make sure that we didn't lose those characters, lose so much of what was fun in the first film, and but make sure they organically fit into this new story. And I think that one of those things was we wanted to preserve kind of like what the first film did so well, which is like crafting these lovable characters, these really fun, entertaining characters, these characters with heart, while giving audiences something to look forward to. So I think like the introduction of the new worlds with like sea lions, walruses, pinnipeds, like that was a fun challenge. And also obviously reptiles are a huge part of the second film, and being like a completely different species, like really unique characteristics. We feel like that really satisfied, like, oh, there's like a lot of room to explore here, not just these new characters for the audience, but how our legacy characters reacted to these new characters as well. So it was really, really fun to do that.
Yeah, and the first film is so rewatchable. I mean, every time you rewatch it, there's something new to see. And so we just kind of use that too as like a template, and just kind of was like, we want to make something like that creative and that fun and stuff. So yeah, I feel like we were successful with that.
For sure. I mean, I wanted to pause every frame during the footage presentation to just dissect it.
There's so much in
there's
there.
still stuff we watch and we're just like, wow, that's so amazing. Yeah.
So speaking of beloved characters, though, we got to spend a little more time with a few of them in Zootopia Plus. So was there any overlap? Did some ideas for Zootopia 2 go to Zootopia Plus and vice versa? Or were both stories kind of on their own narrative track?
Well, Zootopia Plus came first, so I think that like they did a really good job of, taking moments from the first film and then showing a little behind the scenes for those moments. But I think definitely, it all builds on the lore of Zootopia. So it was really fun to think about, the episode with Mr. Big's history and how that came to be, and think about like, oh, okay, how might that inform like how he is in this movie. And there were certain characters featured, like I think Sam the Otter was like a waiter in one of the episodes, and we're like, oh, is there a moment we can have like an otter come in and be a waiter in this film as well? Just kind of keeping everything canon.
Yeah, and a lot of the same artists worked on the Disney Plus series also worked on this film. So there was a lot of like knowledge and stuff that we kind of brought over to this film, that we kind of like little Easter eggs and things. So.
It's just the most beautiful, complex world that you all have built.
Yeah.
So important question. If you could live in any part of the city, which part of the city would you live in?
Ooh, this is cool. I would think, I'm just doing this for laughs, but I would live in Little Rotentia.
No, I'm an Italian girl from New York, so Mr. Big is
like, I'm in. Just for laughs.
Yeah. Mine would have to be Marsh Market. Just like, because I'm the voice of the walrus.
Actually, he already lives in
Marsh so I'm already in Marsh Market, so I would fit right in. I would do lots of bubs and...
Oh my God, I didn't realize I was talking to a celebrity. Yes, I'm a Savannah Central girl because I'm basic and a city girl.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Savannah, that's great.
Yeah.
It's where everything is, So.
Yeah.
Yes, was there any little surprise when you were drawing or jamming that ended up making it into the film?
Oh God, I think there's so many ideas, like you saw with the reptile speakeasy, like just fun things that we tried with reptiles and their kind of unique abilities, having tongues that could reach things, or being able to, I think they can like crawl up walls and stuff. So it was really fun to play with that, because this is the first time we see reptiles in the Zootopia world, so that's definitely a unique thing.
Yeah, same with the gala sequence. I remember doing the jam on that one and just being like, what can we make fancy animals do that's very funny, very entertaining? Yeah. We haven't seen them do this before.
What's a giraffe's formal wear?
Yeah, like just drawing them in formal wear is immediately funny. So it was like, I love that sequence.
I'm changing my Instagram bio to fancy animal.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Chad, so I was lucky enough to story jam with you earlier, and we learned that reptiles, particularly snakes, are some of the hardest creatures to animate. Yeah. So what was that the biggest challenge for the animation department in Zootopia 2, or was there another one that really...
I would say animating Gary specifically, just because, all the other Zootopia, most of them, have legs and arms. And how do you make a snake... snakes slither, they don't walk, but how do you make a snake gesture with no arms? But it was a fun challenge. It was exciting because you have to figure it out. And obviously we looked at the past Disney films that had animated snakes, and we took stuff from those and kind of took the best parts and created a new character and really tried to plus it.
Yes, that was so much fun learning, how you drew upon the legacy of Disney animation to inform this new movie. And Zootopia, because you had the privilege of working on the first movie, quickly became one of the most beloved Disney films when it premiered in 2016. Yeah. So I need to know if there's any Easter eggs from either the first movie, the series, or maybe another Disney animation process we can keep our eyes peeled for.
The artists don't always tell us their Easter eggs that they put in there, so I'm sure there are. I would just say keep your eye out for, I know we talk about research and reference a lot, but there's so many new animals and types of animals in this movie, and we tried to capture as much of those mannerisms and personality things that each of them have, and we peppered them in, and there's so many more characters. If you look in the background in these scenes, it's a huge world with tons of characters.
Rich.
Very rich. And we put just as much detail on all of those characters as we did on the characters in the front of frames. So there's a lot to look at. You got to watch it once, twice, 100 times to see everything.
Seriously, that's something that just slapped me in the face in the best way when I got to see the footage earlier, how rich every single frame of this film is.
Yep.
Speaking of all the research you did, how did your process shift since we have new environments and new characters in Zootopia 2?
Yeah. The process, I would say, stayed pretty true to what we normally do with research, and we always go to the real thing, and we just want to make sure we're doing our due diligence when it comes to getting all the personality things right for each animal. The big difference was that there's new locations. There's a bayou, there's seals, there's sea lions, walruses. The pinnipeds were such a big undertaking because we had never had animals like that before, and we just learned so much about them, and they're so funny. and we really tried to pepper that stuff in, that comedy, entertainment, all of that stuff into each one of those. So it all goes back to research for us, though.
Right. And it was so fun today learning all the different ways y'all do research, whether it's live drawing, going on field trips, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, always.
I have to ask, if you could live anywhere in Zootopia, which part of the city would you live in?
Marsh Market. All day.
It's so lively.
It is.
It's so much fun.
It is, yeah. That's just one of my favorite. It reminds me of home a little bit, so I love it.
Where are you from? Are you from the Southeast?
From New Orleans.
Oh, well, okay, there you go.
Yeah. So that was one of the early sequences that we started researching, and it was just so fun to like look at all the bayou and all the boats and everything. Yeah, I love it.